It was a busy holiday weekend, and the holiday hasn't even been here yet. That holiday is tomorrow.
Yes,
Welcome to a Monday, July 3rd of 2023, with the Micon, Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey, pageant guy.
I was trying to explain Micon to my wife and daughter the other day. They weren't getting it. So,
Which is why we should say what it is.
yeah.
Icon. Icon Mike Smith. Good to have you with us. Thank you so much for watching. Coming up here shortly, we'll take a look at a lot of stuff that I was involved with yesterday up in Asheville, my old stomping grounds. And if you haven't seen that yet on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, you want to check that out. Also, coming up shortly, we'll take a look at sports, good and bad.
Yes.
And this date in history, and since we'll not be here tomorrow due to the holiday, we will have our revolutionary moment as well. So
Correct.
that is all coming up shortly. But first, we want to jump into what we saw in the sky yesterday, and it wasn't fireworks. It was a rainbow, a double rainbow.
Yeah, this was, in fact, I'm finding from all the posts, we were seeing it in Frankfurt, but people throughout the Scioto Valley, up in Pickaway County, Pike County, they were all seeing the same thing. You know, it's not uncommon to see a rainbow, but when you see that double rainbow, that's really neat.
It is, and this is a nice capture by John Wolf, and even up in Pickaway County, the Taze Valley High School Band's page posting this, and you're asking me about if the band practices on the. This is the parking lot where Dan Ramey, young Dan Ramey, marched. There's a football field lined on the parking lot. That way you can go ahead and practice anytime, in any weather. And it does get hot in the summertime,
I bet, yeah.
Believe me. But also this from our friend Mike Murley, this rainbow, he lives out by Clarksburg, from behind the house there as well. So that rainbow got around.
It really did.
And nobody found a pot of gold
Not
that
a piece of gold anywhere to be found. Yeah.
So that was part of what we got to endure yesterday, but plenty of other things too, and we will go through those for you here in just a matter of moments. Now, Mike believes in full disclosure and transparency, as do I, so we wanted to take a moment to let you know that, yes, if you've been trying to look at littermedia.com, we are our parent of an issue. We are aware, and we have been trying to work on that over the weekend, and so we're a little bit under construction, so to speak.
Right.
So
just bear with us.
Yeah, just when you get to our website, just picture this orange barrel sitting right there.
So in the meantime, if you can't find us there, we're still on Facebook, Twitter, and so forth.
Correct. So you're able to see what we're wanting to put on our website, on our social medias, and of course with our YouTube channel as well. All right, coming up, a look at news next. But first, our friends at Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. You want to see what they do? Well, click on this ad when you can get to littermedia.com, and it will take you to their website and find out more. Of course, in this post, you will see hyperlinks to our sponsors. Click on the hyperlink for Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. It takes you right to their social media so that you can learn more about the services at Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your total comfort advisor. They're trusted as well. Coming up, news next.
If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just
It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Michelob Ultra.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. All right, ready to jump into news and see what we have to share for everyone today, and that includes royalty up in Asheville.
Yeah, you got to experience the weather and some beauty inside the gymnasium.
Indeed. There you see in the middle is Katie Reinard. She is the, or Reinard. Katie Renard. There's a Y in the name that is not pronounced, but Katie Renard, she is Miss Asheville 4th of July. To her right, which is our left, that is Katie Medic, and also on the other side is the second attendant, and that is Jenna Pence. And I had the opportunity to see the other gals as well. There you see the Queen, Sophia Seymour from 2022, and Kira Scott was the first attendant on her right in blue, and on her left there is Marissa Purcell. So kids did a great job. It was a lot of fun yesterday, but we did get a chance to talk a little bit about the weather. We started in the park. We ended up in the gym, as you can tell here, all thanks to a downpour.
Now, what folks that weren't here don't know is we started out in Asheville Park, and we got down to round 3. So we got through the first 2 rounds, and then the anticipation, you climb up there on the stage, and suddenly we had to make an announcement that we got to move inside. And the good thing we did, what was the run like over here? Because it started raining.
We ran fast, and I've never seen so many girls in heels running, because we were trying to get out of that rain as it just started downpouring on us, and everybody's like trying to get us under the awning. It was eventful for sure.
Well, we made it safely, get down to the top 6, you're in the top 6, and then suddenly here we are, the final moments, you hear your name called. Yours was called first. What was it like?
It was just like, sitting there, I forgot my number. I was like, number 3, oh my gosh, that's me. And I was just sitting there in high anticipation, waiting for, my number to get called. I didn't think it was gonna get called, but it did. And I came up here and I almost started crying.
And then your name was called.
It was. I was just praying that my number would be called. I just wasn't sure if it would or not, obviously, because of just everyone did so well with their speeches, and I was just so excited to hear my number, and I'm just so ready for this experience.
And then you had the last name called. That had to be nerve-wracking, I'm sure.
Oh, it was so nerve-wracking. I was just sitting there and I was like, Dan, please say my name, please say my name, please say my name. And then he said it, and it was just so exciting. And Sophie's been one of my great friends for years, so it was so fun for her to hand the crown over to me and put my sash on, and it was just such a cool experience. And I'm so glad that I got it.
Good kids, and she's a part of the FCA leadership they have at Taze Valley, and all 3 are either an athlete or a cheerleader, so very involved in the community already. And afterwards, when everything closed down and we were ready to walk on out, the pictures tell the story. Part of that story is because her tiara, it was too big, and it started falling off of her head, and so the attendant stepped up and did what the court is supposed to do, support the queen, and they did. So congratulations to those kids. But that's not the only thing going on in Asheville. They had a lights competition, much like you have for Christmas decorations. Notice the red, white, and blue. And this is just to the west of the elementary school. This is one of the top 3 winners, but I can't remember if it is the winner or not. But as I'm driving last night on the way home, I couldn't go past this without stopping, taking video, and the fireworks, that was just extra added entertainment right there. And I can't tell you how many displays I saw on the way home from Asheville last night. This is Arlene Fortner. She is 82 years old. She is the first female member of the Harrison Township Fire Squad. As you see, some of the firemen and firewomen are around her in this photo, but she was awarded the Citizen of the Year award for her efforts over the years. Congratulations. The women hand out an award and the men hand out an award as well, but we're focusing on Arlene today because she's almost 83. She was the first female lieutenant of the Harrison Township Fire Department, and also she is the first paid employee, from what I understand, full time. So that's pretty cool. So congratulations to her as well. And the Asheville is the home of Ohio Small Town Museum. They dedicated the causeway out there to the late Charlie Morrison, who was indeed Mr. Asheville. And if I can make one more Asheville comment, and that's going to go back to the girls here once again, those sashes that you see are made by Jacob Wise's mom at Embroidery Wise. Of course, we lost Jacob's dad, who had been the mayor of Asheville for 20 plus years. And so just wanted to give a shout out to them as well. What a time it is in Asheville. And they've got events going on today, and they'll be right back at it with the grand parade tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock and fireworks later in the evening.
Very good. So that was just somebody's backyard fireworks that you saw earlier.
Yes. We will have area fireworks displays going on today in Athens, Jackson, Washington Courthouse. Of course, this little thing in Columbus called Red, White, and Boom. Tuesday, you'll see Asheville, here in Chillicothe, Piketon, and Waverly. And we should mention also that tomorrow is the big day for Chillicothe's Community Day. That takes place down at Diamond 2 from 2 until 6. They'll have food trucks, bouncy houses, and a whole lot more for the families to enjoy. Trolley rides take place 2 to 8 tomorrow. And the Sid Pool Party, for those who contributed to the fireworks, 7 to 9:30. And, of course, the fireworks themselves, about 9:45 tomorrow. And I understand that the weather's going to be fantastic tomorrow.
That's what we're hoping. And something else that I wasn't aware of that's been going on for a number of years, tomorrow on the 4th of July at Lake White, they have a Lake White boat parade. They start gathering around what they call the marina, and then people will be able to watch. They're urging the spectators to view from the Lake White Club, and that'll be open from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m., and they'll be serving hot dogs, brats, fries, wings, all the stuff you would imagine for the 4th of July up until 2 p.m.
Have they reopened the Lake White Club?
It has been. I've been hearing people that have gone down to dine there. So
within the last, month and a half?
Well, that part I don't know.
Because they had closed it down for a while here probably last January, I think it was.
Okay.
And I've not seen it open yet, so that's why I was asking if there's something new there.
Well, it's definitely going to be open from 11 to 4 tomorrow.
At least for hot dogs.
Yeah, so enjoy the lake down there for everyone stopping in. Speaking of the 4th of July, a new state law here in Ohio went into effect actually last year that allows most of residents in the state to set off what we would refer to as the smaller fireworks or firecrackers. But we still want you to be careful out there. These are still potentially dangerous for those who don't know what they're doing. So if you have some firecrackers that, you can legally set them off, but please use caution when doing so. Another project that's taking place in Yoctangi Park during the Community Day, which Dan told you earlier is taking place all day in Yoctangi Park tomorrow. The Caboose Maintenance and Restoration Fund is having a fundraiser tomorrow at the parking lot next to the pump house. Now, this is the red caboose that we're talking about at the head of the park. The event will take place from 5 until 8 p.m. They'll be selling a bag meal consisting of a can of pop, bag of potato chips, and a hot dog for $5. This includes a free homemade chocolate chip cookie for every purchase. And again, all of that going to that restoration of the red caboose. Opening reception for the new exhibition at the Pump House Center for the Arts will be this coming Thursday, July the 7th. That'll be from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Cleveland artist Craig Mattis has designed what he calls songbooks, where the viewer will be able to view the image while listening to Craig's recorded music via the QR code. And one of our good sponsors, Andy Tomlinson, helping out with that event called Rocking Horse. That's not all going on. The area artist, time to be thinking about our annual regional art competition known as The Hills. The perspective is available at the Pump House, and the info is in the, as you see here on the far right, that's what your entry fee, or not entry fee, but entry form will look like. Those forms are due back at the Pump House by August the 26th, and artwork delivery is September 2nd and 3rd. 2 entries are allowed per artist. Now, the Hills is open to artists 18 years of age and older who live within a 75-mile radius of Chillicothe. So all of our folks in surrounding communities, if you're within 75 miles of Chillicothe, you can enter as well.
Bummer if you're 76 miles away.
Yeah, well, yeah, we won't tell. You come on in. Christmas in July Craft and Vendor Show is coming up July the 8th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at 901 Toledo Street here in Chillicothe. This is part of the First Capital Cornerstone of Change, which also supports their community programs, the Ross County Recovery and Outreach Center, and the First Capital Prevention. They'll have some eats down there for people to help out with, as well as if you're not familiar with the Recovery Center, it gives people an opportunity to come in, if you don't have a home, to use their washer and dryer and even get some hygiene products. So check that out, what they're doing July the 8th to help make that all possible. The governor over the weekend has appointed 2 people in our coverage area to state boards. Donald Willis III of Wellston has been appointed to the Ohio Criminal Sentencing Commission, and also Sally Schishler of Portsmouth has been appointed to the Shawnee State University Board of Trustees for a term that goes through the year 2032. When I saw that, I kept thinking, I can't even put my head around 2032 yet. If, like a lot of people, in fact, probably in the thousands, there are people throughout this part of the state of Ohio that head south or to the East Coast, to the ocean. Well, tragically, we've learned just in the state of Florida, there have been a dozen drownings in just the month of June, and all of them because of what's known as rip currents. Now, if you've been down to the beach, anywhere at the Atlantic, I'm sure you see the same thing out in the Pacific. You've probably seen this poster at the beach that tells you what a rip current is, and if you would happen to get caught up on how to swim and to get out of it. Take the time when you're at the beach to read over. Don't be like on the airplane when the stewardess is giving you the instructions where you're not paying attention. Please make sure that you're paying attention to this. We want to make sure you get back home safely from your vacation.
Toughest thing about that is the natural instinct is to fight against it and try and swim through it. But from what I'm told, it's best to kind of float with it until there is no more current. And then problem is, how far down the beach are you?
Right. Yeah, and if you're going to try to swim, you swim at a parallel.
Yeah.
Not trying to come directly back to the beach in that current, because it's just going to keep taking you back. We always give you our road report. Well, one thing we want to tell you that today and tomorrow, most all road construction projects that Ohio Department of Transportation is involved in will not be happening. Now, the orange barrels will still be out there, but they're taking today and tomorrow off due to the holiday, but they'll be back come Wednesday. But remember, drive carefully in those construction zones.
You said that in a little bit of a cheery kind of feel. They'll be back.
They'll be back, yeah.
Whether you like it or not, they'll be back.
Well,
but, they got a lot of work to get
We
done.
want to make sure they get the project done and not leave
Precisely.
Not leave it undone.
Precisely. Sports on the way in just a moment. A lot of baseball. We'll share that with you in just a moment, so stick close for that. Also coming up in just a moment, this date in history, and we'll also take a look at our revolutionary moment for this week. But first, Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. You need a dumpster, and here's the reason why. When you get done putting on that fireworks show, you got all those shells to throw away, right? And all the residual stuff. Put it all in a dumpster, and then let Scioto Valley Dumpsters take care of it for you. But if it's not just fireworks, it could be something else.
Sure.
You want to clean up the property, whatever the case may be, give them a call, 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. Up ahead, sports next.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
It's time to get serious about your lawn. It's time to step up to the best mower brand money can buy. For nearly 4 decades, Skag has been the easy choice for lawn care professionals. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best when it comes to mowing your lawn. There's sure to be a Skag model that's perfect for your yard, big or small. Make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Visit your local Skag dealer today. Skag, simply the best.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Time to take a look at sports, and with sports, Mike Smith. Oh, wait a second.
Well, we knew that some of these gals are athletes.
They are athletes, yes, yes. I was clicking on the wrong button. I apologize. Sports.
There we go. We've been telling you about the Chillicothe Paints winning streak. Well, it got up to 12, winning the first game of a doubleheader over the weekend 5-1. But then that's where the win streak stopped. As the very next game, the Paints saw that win streak come to a close.
In a one-run game.
Yeah. Lost to the Kings by a score of 3-2. But look at that record, 22-9, heading into back-to-back days off. They're off today. As well as tomorrow, as I understand it. I thought they had fireworks out there tomorrow night. Because of the Chillicothe fireworks, they're not doing that. So.
They had their fireworks Saturday night, and now they head on the road for like the next week.
So is this the end of the first half?
Yes.
Okay, so we win.
Yes.
We're in the playoffs come August. Congratulations.
They win, we're in.
Yeah, congratulations to the Paints, and a great way to finish up that first round. Speaking of great ways to finish up a homestand before their All-Star break, in the major leagues, the Reds hang on for a 4-3 with thriller over the San Diego Padres to win that series. They've won 7 of their last 8 series, and that's how you win championships. They remain tied with the Brewers, who also won yesterday for the National League Central Division lead. Now the Reds head to the nation's capital to start a set with the Nationals.
This is a big week for the Reds because they've got the Nationals, and when they get done with the Nationals, then I think it's a 4-game set with the Brewers.
Right, they're battling for first place. The Guardians, they won their weekend series with the Cubs, and the Guardians are in a virtual tie still with the Minnesota Twins for the American League Central Division lead. Now, the All-Stars for the Major League All-Star Game on July 11th, I believe they said it's out in Seattle this year, were named. Both Cincinnati and Cleveland have one representative unless the manager later will add to that roster. But this guy's been on fire in the first half of the season. Alexis Diaz, the Reds reliever, he's been named from Cincinnati. And from the Cleveland Guardians, this fella, Emmanuel Clase. And this is his second career All-Star selection.
Yeah, I believe he was part of the closing down last year of the National League.
Yeah.
And they won 9 straight as the American League?
Right. So, again, the manager, of course, the voted starting lineup is in. Each team is guaranteed one player, but from time to time an injury or whatever will take a player out of the lineup and they add to it. So there could be more Red players or Guardian players added, but those are the ones we know of for now.
And let's be honest, there have been 4 Reds in the top 5 in their selections, and they're all young guys. Right. And if they continue to gain the popularity that they're gaining, since this is a popularity contest, I could very easily see the Reds have 4 or maybe 5 guys on there.
Right. I was thinking Tyler
next year.
Tyler Stevenson, of course, had the eventual game-winning 2-run homer, but he pinch hit for Joey Votto
Yeah.
When's the last time Joey Votto was ever pinch hit for a game-winning hit?
Well, and from what I understand, this was a matchup situation, and not that Joey couldn't get it done, but Stevenson had been batting like 400 for the last week, and the first pitch, he sent it out.
Right, but it was a lefty pitcher going against the lefty Votto.
Yeah.
That's why they brought Tyler on.
Right.
And Stevenson's been on fire. Joey's cooled off a little bit after he rejoined the team red hot. I think he was 0 for his last 19 before he was hit by a pitch late in the game yesterday.
You look at Joey Votto, and part of me thinks, what are they talking about, this great hitter? Because it seems like I always see him strike out. And what gets me there is the guy is so cerebral. I think he overthinks
Could be.
the batting at times and just gets outwitted, so to speak. But when you look at his overall scheme of things, he's like second to Johnny Bench in RBIs, is it? And clutch hits. And you look at the whole bottom of his work, it's Hall of Fame caliber stuff.
Yeah, they're referring to him as future Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
so I think it's going to be a given.
And I don't want people thinking I'm poo-pooing on Joey. That's not the case. I've really become to like the guy because I think since the social media, he joined in that, his personality has just taken off.
Yeah.
But still, when it comes to analysis of the game, he is a true student of the game, and I love to sit and listen to him talk about the game.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like listening to Pete Rose talk about the game. You know, Pete had all this before we got into the analytics and everything. You know, it's just amazing how those two guys can look at the game and explain it the way that they do it and give you a good visual of how they see the game.
Yeah, Ted Williams, if you go back and watch some of his old interviews, because Ted's been going now for a number of years, he probably was the first player that I ever saw any video talking in that way. They said Williams' eyesight was incredible. He claimed that he could see which way, he could actually see the individual stitches on the ball. I don't know how you can do that because that ball's spinning.
Yeah.
And to think that he missed 4 or 5 years of his career due to World War II and the Korean conflict, what would his numbers have been like if he'd played those 5 years?
Precisely.
Because the last year he played before going to World War II, he hit 406, the last major league player to ever finish the season over 400.
You talk about being able to see things that you can't see. This is not the eye. How can it see that? And I think it's a mind game. He's picturing what that would look like coming in and able to read it that way. The late Dale Earnhardt had a similar circumstance about being able to see the wind off of a car.
Right.
Well, you go through enough wind tunnels, you see how the smoke goes over a car. Then you can kind of picture what it would look like to be able to know where you're going to get the best pull or push off of another vehicle. So it sounds difficult to grasp in your mind, but these guys are that good because they're able to do it.
Yeah. And the fact that nobody's hit over 400 since 1941 shows how special that guy was. So.
Precisely. Coming up, this date in history, we turn the clock back to?
This day in history is 1863, and then we have a Revolutionary War moment from 1775.
All just ahead as we continue with the Monday edition of Litter Media Live.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
At Rathkamp Financial, we provide wealth management services that may ease clients' fears of financial loss and help them retire comfortably. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
It is time to look back, and we step into the Litter Media Wayback Machine, and we go back to World War II. I'm so used to us doing that. The Civil War.
Yeah, and then the Revolution. We're going to go backwards in our progression here. This date in 1863, on the third day of the Battle of Gettysburg, Confederate General Robert E. Lee's last attempt at breaking the Union line ends in disastrous failure, bringing the most decisive battle of the American Civil War to an end. Most of you would know that disastrous last gasp effort as Pickett's Charge, where Confederate troops under General Pickett tried to run hundreds of yards across an open field under heavy fire. Did not work out very well. Now, our Revolutionary War Minute. The American Revolution did not begin with the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It started a year earlier, on April the 19th of 1775, with the battles of Lexington and Concord, the famous shot heard round the world. Yes, that was the original, not the Bobby Thompson home run in 1951. Politically disastrous for the British, it persuaded many Americans to take up arms and support the cause of independence. France provided the money, troops, armament, military leadership, and naval support that tipped the balance of military power in favor of the United States and paved the way for the Continental Army's ultimate victory in 1781. But this is an artist's rendition of that Battle of Lexington. And thanks again to the Nathaniel Massey chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution for their weekly Revolutionary War moment as we celebrate the upcoming 250th anniversary.
My theme for our Sunday school class this weekend was Happy Dependence Day. Of course, we celebrate our independence from the tyranny of British rule, but also just the rule of someone over a group of people. We have the freedoms in this country and liberties in this country, perhaps at times maybe too much liberty, maybe too much freedom, but that's if you look at a conservative view. But the thing I'm getting to is the dependence upon God. We cannot forget that, because if we do not allow ourselves to be dependent upon Him, then we run the risk of not having independence at all.
Yeah, I think George Washington, there were other members of the founding fathers that stated this type of government cannot work if you don't have a belief in a higher power. Mm-hmm. And because it requires morals, ethics, honesty, you name it. So, go back and read some of what our founding fathers wrote. And you might be surprised. It's like, where did we come up with this idea that we don't need God in our lives? So
right. There's many viewpoints on that, and sometimes we're clouded by certain things that was something of the day, like slavery, that sort of thing. Eventually, again, we went to war over that and all, but don't be a slave to sin. Don't be a slave to locking your mind down over things, and that's where that dependency upon God comes into play. So, radio moment. Anything come to you?
Of course.
This is usually how we wrap up the show when we do the show together.
WKKJ, I think we touched on this last week, has been doing what they call the Sky music for a number of years. You started that off. Christina Wolford has been doing it for the last 20 or so years. And I know there's just a lot of work that goes. That's why I was never involved in it. There's a lot of work that goes to putting that together. But Brian was telling us the other day that something different this year in the way they're setting off the fireworks and how they sync that music up. You want to touch on that again?
It's all computerized. In the past, there were programs you could use and everything, but from what I understand, they never truly have launched everything by computer and sat back and watched it. Mm-hmm. It's usually been, okay, this is about to happen at this time, and I'm going to flip this switch, and so on and so forth. Yes, everything is wired to a board, But it's my understanding from listening to Brian Knowles talk about this last week, this is going to be, when we push go, stand back and watch it, you know, and that's pretty cool that they would be able to orchestrate and design all of that. Mike mentioned that I started the music. That when I came back to Chillicothe, it became one of my responsibilities. It was something that Dan Latham placed on me. And because I had some experience in doing it in Columbus, but we were not the first to do that. There was back when B94 was still around, they had a soundtrack one year because I remember Chip Arledge putting it together, and that year it rained during the fireworks, and all that work to put that together, and then suddenly we run into a situation where we're not going to be able to use it. That was a tough moment. They did have the fireworks, but we had to wait till like 10:30, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I just wanted to step in and say we weren't the first. We were the first of our group doing it, but it had been done before here in Chillicothe.
I don't think there's been a rain out since, has there?
I can't remember one.
I know that there were some times that it rained right up to the event.
Yeah.
And it was just like, when it came time, it held back. So thank you, Lord.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, that's it for the program today. We will not have a show tomorrow due to the holiday. However, I may be out and about with a camera or two. And so keep an eye on our YouTube channel and here on our social media. And I guess that depends on if we're able to get our website construction fixed today. So
there's a big orange barrel right on our website.
And all I can see is just a sea of orange barrels in my brain. Remember we were talking about seeing the threads on the baseball coming?
Yes, right.
I'm picturing that.
You'll be dreaming orange barrels all night tonight.
I remember as a kid, we would ride down to Virginia Beach to see Aunt Margie. We would spend time with her for several days, and then we'd come back to Ohio. But I remember lying in bed that first night, closing my eyes and seeing nothing but road signs coming at me. And I'm like 6 years old, and I'm seeing all these road signs. I'll never forget that, I think, until, I no longer take a breath. But we'll see how that goes. All right, that's it for the program. We will see you on Wednesday with another edition of Litter Media Live. Thanks for watching.